I'm with Reginald Charlot, who's the Director for International Tourism for the USA and for Europe for NYC & Co. And he's visiting Dublin to talk to the Irish travel industry. New York, of course, is such a vibrant brand. What's new in New York? Is there anything new, or is there anything new that Irish tourists should be interested in having a look at?
Well, New York City is always evolving. There's things happening new in New York City all the time. One of the big things that are happening now is the fact that there is we're going to have a bike share program in New York City starting at the end of the summer.
Is that like the one here in Dublin?
Very correct, where you're able to rent a bicycle for a couple of hours, and you're able to ride it in the city, so you're able to pick up at point A and drop it off at point B. It's a great way to see the city, to have access to the city, go on the various bike paths, ride through down Fifth Avenue, cross the Brooklyn Bridge into various parts of the city. So it's a great way to see the city and a great way to get exercise also.
Sure. Now, Irish tourists are pretty well known that they like to have a good time when they go away. So they like to have a few drinks and they like to have a nice meal. What's happening from, I think Restaurant Week is coming up in New York. How important is that to New York and to international tourism?
Correct. Restaurant Week happens twice a year. It's actually going on its 20th year, so it's the original, actually we created Restaurant Week. It's the original Restaurant Week. It happens twice a year, as I mentioned before, and the next coming Restaurant Week is coming up in July. Now, this is a great opportunity for all Irish visitors to come to New York City and experience cuisine at some of the finest restaurants in New York City, which could be a little bit difficult or possibly a little bit more expensive to dine in. However, experiencing Restaurant Week, you get to go and have a pre-course fixed meal, a pre-course lunch for $24. Dinner, 3-course, prefix, $35. So it's a great way to save, experience, and dine in the most fantastic restaurants in New York City.
Good. And approximately how many restaurants are involved in something like that?
I would say over about 300 restaurants are involved in Restaurant Week.
So there's plenty of choice. There's no problem.
Yes.
Now, of course, the other side of the Irish visitors, they love shopping. Do New York shops really appreciate the Irish tourists?
Yes, they do, because they know the Irish shoppers will come in and spend aplenty. We have various department stores, the Macy's, the famous Macy's, Bloomingdale's, Saks Fifth Avenue, so there's plenty of big store choices. Also, you have the various neighborhoods, so you can go shopping in the East Village, the Lower East Side. If you cross the river into Brooklyn, there's shopping in Williamsburg as well as Boerum Hill.
And of course, everybody heads, to one part of New York. But of course, there's so much more to see, especially in the boroughs. Are you trying to promote Irish tourists to move into the boroughs?
We would love to see more Irish visitors in the boroughs. It's a different experience to go to the other parts of the city. Midtown, yes, Midtown is the famous area where most visitors go, and they're familiar with the Empire State Building, top of the Rock. But going a little bit further south, even in downtown Manhattan, to have that experience, as I mentioned before, the area of the East Village and Lower East Side. You cross over into Brooklyn, and there's a lot to see. There are hotels opening up in Brooklyn. There is the Barclays Center, which is opening up in downtown Brooklyn, which is where formerly the New Jersey Nets, now the Brooklyn Nets, will be playing basketball, and Barbra Streisand is going to be performing at this Barclays Center. If you go up into Queens, Long Island City, in and of itself, there is a new up-and-coming area. It's on the water. It has restaurants, it has bars, it has cafes. PS1, MoMA, is located steps from this particular area also. So there's a lot to see and do, and even if you go up to the Bronx, people think the Bronx Yankees, but actually the Bronx is the greenest borough in all of New York City. In addition to that, you're able to go sailing and to the beach, and nobody would have ever thought to do that in the Bronx.
Absolutely. Now, I was in New York recently, and I was absolutely mind-boggled by the NYC Visitor Center.
Yes.
It's the most amazing place. Could you give us just in a very quick sort of 20, 30 seconds, what can people do at your visitor center? Because it's such an impressive and important place for people to go to.
Certainly. Our information center is actually prime. It's a perfect location to get information on New York City. You can actually go and actually have access and be able to check your email. You get information on the various attractions throughout the city. We also have our wonderful information specialists that can help people plan their itinerary, answer questions. People can pick up guides, maps, brochures, and even also purchase Metro subway tickets in the information center.
Now, tell me the important part, really. People like to know what's happening about the 9/11 memorial in New York. I mean, we have very close affinity from Ireland to New York, so it's important that Irish people are aware of it. We're very respectful of it and we appreciate it. What is the situation? Can people just go down to the memorial on their own?
Actually, what the best thing to do for the memorial, yes, it is very impactful and it's very important for the Irish to come and visit the memorial. You can order your tickets online. The tickets are free to order online. So it's time ticketing, so it's important that all visitors are there on the specific time that they're to visit the museum, the memorial. It's something that's very impactful, seeing all the names of the individuals that had passed away, unfortunately, on September 11, 2001, in not only New York City, but also in Washington, D.C., and also the ones in Pennsylvania, and finally the first attack on New York City, which was in 1993. So all those names from those four experiences will be seen at the memorial.
And tell me, Reginald, I've heard there's going to be a museum opening in connection with the 9/11 memorial. When do you anticipate that might be open?
At this point in time, it's a tentative date, but looking to 2013 for the opening of the museum. But when the museum does open, it will be very, once again, impactful and tremendous experience for all visitors, in particular the Irish visitors, to come and see what has been turned into something of obviously a memorial to the victims, but also just to see what has been done in regards to helping New York City recover from this.
And approximately how much time would somebody need to leave to really see the memorial properly? Would they need a half a day, a day?
To see the memorial, I think it's more of, you could probably do it probably like in a half an hour to 45 minutes. But if you really want to feel the full experience and walk through the memorial, because it is almost like a garden space, an open space also. At this point in time, though, it's still a construction site as they're building the World Trade Center Tower right now. So it's something to be mindful of. Once all that construction is done, then it's going to be an open esplanade for people to be able to walk and enjoy themselves at their leisure.
And finally, Staten Island. I mean, that's, people often don't even think that New York is on the water. How important is Staten Island to New York itself? And is it important for the cruise industry? And where does that help New York?
Well, Staten Island, yes. Staten Island is important to New York City. It's important to the visitors, part of New York City. The Staten Island Ferry is a great way to get access to go to Staten Island. And one thing that people may not realize is the fact that you can go golfing on Staten Island, which is something that most Irish I know and appreciate from their golf courses would be able to take advantage of and see that. Also, there's some beaches and some water areas around Staten Island to be able to go and enjoy with the family. There is the Snug Harbor Cultural Center that's located in Staten Island, as well as Richmond Hill. So there's a lot of history and culture located in Staten Island. Of course, mentioning water, we have the two cruise terminals in New York City, one in Brooklyn and also another one in Manhattan. So with the newest line that's coming on board is Disney Cruise Lines. It makes New York City far more family friendly, and that's what we're looking forward to bring not only individuals, couples, but families to come to New York City to find the opportunities to spend money and enjoy themselves as a family in New York City.
That's fantastic. Listen, thank you very much for your time. It's obviously New York is really welcoming, and especially to Irish visitors. We always feel we have a very close affiliation with New York, and we want to continue with that. So we hope that you'll see many, many more Irish coming to New York and that you can welcome them. And again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gerry.